Determining Report Card Grades, Chapter 13, pages 364 through 373, by Mackenzie Duncan. Introduction. Although many efforts are trying to change the way of grading, we have not done away completely with unit and semester grading. Composite grades today are the end of the unit or semester grades that are assigned to students based on performance in each academic area. In order to determine final grades, you must use your professional judgment, as well as personal judgment for marks and grades per individual assessment. In this PowerPoint, you will find how to calculate final grades. How to calculate final grades in 3 easy steps. First, determine what to include in the final grade. Next, decide on weights for each individual assessment. Then, total the weighted score to determine a single grade. This is important. Number 1, figure out all school and district guidelines. You need to follow these. Put your own spin on them without changing completely. These guidelines may include grading formulas that outline what needs to be included in the final grade. They may specify weights for exams or projects. The district or school may have an allowable failure rate. These guidelines often frustrate teachers. Do not be discouraged, they can be negotiated. This is also important. Number 2, if you decide to use an online gradebook that parents and students have access to, you might not be able to change around grades later when calculating students' final grade. Online gradebooks help with feedback to students and parents formatively and summatively. Online gradebooks also restrict teachers from changing grades to help students out and bump them up to the next level grade without changing all the grades. What will be included in the final grade? That is up to you. You have the power. You pick which assessments will contribute to the final grade. It is best to base final grades on academic performance. Your choice of what goes into the final grade should provide accurate information in relation to learning goals. Some teachers do not include pop quizzes, participation, and homework in the final grade, but you can if you choose. You do not want non-academic factors like attendance, effort, and personal social characteristics to influence final grade. Make sure to inform parents and students what counts for a final grade and why it's fair. The more assessments, the better. But be sure it's not taking away from instruction. Figure out how many assessments are needed to judge learning accurately. In the chart provided, a quantitative number is listed for academic performance. A qualitative word is listed for non-academic performance. A single grade hides more than it reveals, by Grant Wiggins. Rule of thumb. If grade is for academic performance in areas such as reading, science, mathematics, history, and the like, grade is determined primarily on academic performance on major assessments. Online grading system. Although these are great and help teachers out, they can mess up the flow. Teachers often weigh topics after instructional time. If grades are posted and then changed after students and parents can view them, it may cause confusion. It is best for teachers to provide outline for weighted grades but clearly state the weights can change due to instructional time. Grading assessments. One assessment is not enough for a 9-week grade. 3 assessments is better, but still might not be enough. Grading assessment rule of thumb. The more assessments, the better. But too many assessments takes away from instruction. That is especially true of high-stakes standardized tests. They are not always well aligned with curriculum of your classroom. Over-testing leads to students being bored, which introduces error. Your professional judgment should determine ways to use grades to better authentic learning. Weighting assessments. Not only should you identify assessments, but you should weigh them too. How much will each assessment count towards the final grade? More important assessments equal greater weight. More professional judgment is used to determine importance of assessments. Assessments are most significant when they A. Follow learning goals and targets. B. Reflect on instructional time. C. Are most reliable. D. Are most current. Significant assessments follow learning goals and targets. There are several learning targets for each unit. So first you need to break down the targets into percentages. How much does that specific target contribute to the whole unit? Think of a pie chart. Each section is worth a percentage that adds up to the whole. The final grade should be a relative input of each topic. This will help in making your content-based evidence a valid source. The breakdown of percentages should be based on the length of the topic in the book, the assessments, and the instructional time spent. Significant assessments reflect on instructional time. Instructional time is an important factor in the emphasis given to each topic. During instructional time, the teacher should go over what will be assessed. You can test on knowledge students should have read, but weights should reflect on instructional focus. Figure out a percentage of the time spent on each topic, and have a guideline, but determine weight of each topic toward the end of instruction. Significant assessments are most reliable. Students should know what will be on the assessment for the assessment so that it is a reliable topic. If something is tested that students are unaware of, error is created. You can test students on what they read, but it is best to test based on what is taught during instruction. Weights should not be set in stone at the beginning of the unit. You do not know how much time you will spend per topic. Reliability increases with greater number of items for each target and objective. Most important concern is validity. Significant assessments are most current. If you test the same content multiple times as you would with a cumulative final, put more weight on the most current. You could even drop the previous assessments if there is a cumulative final. However, that is hard to do. It is hard to just discard an earlier test score. The best answer to this problem is just to weigh the most current assessment more. Combining different scores and grades. Over the years, schools have updated and are now using electronic grading systems. These systems take the place of gradebooks. They can be accessed online by teachers, administrators, students, and parents. The high degree of communication and available feedback is a huge advantage of online gradebooks. Online grading systems are great for teachers and allow them to skip the tedious calculations. This allows little error. Although online grading systems make it hard for teachers to average or weight assessments, professional judgment remains key to keep things fair for the students. Weighted categories versus total points method. Weighted categories. Assessments that use different types of scores, grades, and tests. Different number of items are scaled and combined to produce composite grades. Example: homework is graded on a check plus, check, or check minus basis. Projects are graded with rubrics. Exams are graded on a 100-point scale. These can be weighted by category. The total points method, teacher gives each assessment number of points that reflects weight. Final grade is total points of all assessments. Example: homework is worth 5 points and test 50 points. This method shows students importance of each assignment. The disadvantage of total points method is teachers have to adjust number of items to equal points each assessment should provide. Using judgment when combining grades. When you include different assessments and combine them mathematically, you are basically taking the average of all the performances. There is danger in mindless averaging method. This distorts students' capabilities. Students may not level up or get a better grade when mindless averaging. Sometimes adjustments just need to be made by the teacher. Think critically about effort of their grading system. Some teachers eyeball it. The teacher reviews the scores and grades and estimates an average without doing any calculations mathematically. This method isn't recommended but has redeeming qualities. Based on teacher professional judgment, students can also professionally judge and eyeball to come up with an average. Just because a numeric average comes up with a certain grade doesn't mean that the grade is a valid indicator of student achievement. Cheating. Cheating. Cheating is a very serious offense and appropriate action is required. Should you lower grades due to cheating? That may not be the answer if the extreme negative impact on the grade. If you give 0 credit on the major test because the student was caught cheating, the final grade does not represent the student's knowledge accurately. Here, grades are forms of punishment. It would be better to retest the students and punish in a way that does not affect the academic grade. Assessing the weight of mandated assessments. There has been an increase in the number of mandated assessments given by teachers in the past decade. End-of-the-year tests have been traded out for Division Level 9 Weeks test, and in other classrooms bi-weekly assessments. Should these assessments count toward the final grade? Since students are spending so much instructional time taking them, some school policies may answer this question for you. However, if you are allowed to judge on this issue, they should assess the quality and alignment of the assessments to their course curriculum. This is a summary of what to do and what not to do for effective grading practices. This chart was taken from the Classroom Assessment 6th edition by James H. McMillan.